Okay.
All right. Sorry, my computer's out, so I'm on my phone. But greetings, everybody. Hopefully everybody has had a good day going into this evening. We're excited to be presenting another Be Ready course tonight. One that is we're really looking forward to because it deals with one of the most critical and overlooked aspects of business is the business plan. And we are looking forward to a great presentation from Kaaren-Lynn, who's from the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and looking forward to just learning how we can take everything we've been learning, right, from the financial aspect to the marketing to the being ready for loans. How do we tie all that in together and have a business plan that not just is going to be a roadmap and something that's going to help us, but also help when we're telling our story, when we're trying to get funding and all the other uses for having a strong business plan. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over. And as always, feel free to jump in if you have questions throughout, either in the chat or by raising hand, and then we'll make sure we leave time at the end for questions as well. But if there aren't any questions up front, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kaaren, and we look forward to this discussion. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali. And Surya, thank you so much for the introduction. If I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation with you here. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just want to, before I even get started and talk more about the work that I do for the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I want to offer my special thanks to Phoenix Local Organizing Committee and also to my friend, to my colleague, Surya. So thank you all for your support and thank you for understanding the importance of this business planning workshop. So it's my honor to do this presentation for you this evening. I'm hopeful, since we're such a small group, I'm hopeful that you guys just dive right in, ask as many questions as possible. Just so you know, I'm going to turn over the presentation, the resources, the documents that I'm referencing. I'm going to turn all those over to Surya at the very end there for you to keep. And like I shared before, I am available to you if needed. So with that, like I said, a special thank you to Phoenix Local Organizing and Surya OYS, and also to you. Thank you for joining us. So here's the presentation highlights that I just want to go through. Introductions. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about you all. I'm going to talk about the history of Nebedsi. I was just kind of curious how many people knew the name or how to pronounce it, but we refer to it as Nebedsi. And then also this session 1, which is strengthening your business strategy and certifications. So tonight we're going to talk about the business plans. I'm going to do some teasers about certifications and also a teaser about capability statements. And hopefully at a later date, we're going to talk more in detail and in depth about the capability statement. And then we'll go into some Q&A. Also, as always, I do believe in showing support when possible. So I put some of our different handles in there. So please feel free to do some social media, if you will. You can tell I don't know the language because I'm not a social media person. We have a person who does that for us, but I'm hopeful that you all can do that this evening. So I also want to say I own my own business as well. It's called My Business Lady. We always refer to it as taking care of all your writing needs. And so with that, I'm just going to give a snapshot of myself, and then I'm going to turn it over to you because I want to know who I'm working with this evening. So a little bit about myself. My name is Kaaren-Lynn Graves. I am one of the project directors at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm the project director for this grant right here, called Nebedsi. And what we do is we serve American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians in Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and on the Navajo Nation. Another thing too, under our new grant, hopefully will be awarded here within the next couple of days. Under this grant, we're also working under transformative projects, working with all minorities. So a little bit more about Nebedsi here in a second, but more about me. So my background stems from, I want to say 26 years ago when I really cut my teeth working in the business world. So I went to Mesa Community College, Kaplan University, have degrees in communications with an emphasis in technical writing, male and female communications, male and female relations, psychometric evaluation of a tools and sources, and I have other certifications as well. Essentially, my whole life has been centered on technical and business writing. So you can't get more nerdish or boring than the person here in front of you today. So my role in all of this led me to working for the governor's office. As a matter of fact, I worked on a project for Arizona's former governor, Napolitano. At the time, I'm not sure if you guys remember, because I only get to see Ali's face here, but I'm not sure if anybody remembers 211, which is still around today. If you call the number 211 for Health and Human Service Resources. So 911's for emergencies, 411's for information, and 211, Health and Human Service Resources. Well, at the time, years ago, that project was underneath Arizona Governor Napolitano, and I was the official voice of the phone number. So when you called, that was my voice. And the other thing too, I was the content manager. So I had a team of 10 people managing 40,000 records. So it was a major undertaking. I bring that up to share with you that when the economy, took a dive for the worse, I lost my job. I thought I was going to be doing that job for the next 50 years of my life. I found myself, kind of fast forward a couple of months, found myself helping to bring in some grants for the state of Arizona. One in particular was a little bit over $1 million. Well, Napolitano, as you guys can remember, she left to go work with President Obama. So the new Governor Brewer came on board, and me and my director had a meeting with her where she said, give the money back. So the money had to be given back. And at that point, I was 2 weeks away from that being the last time I got to work on that project. And with that, I was a month away after that, within a year or so, from being homeless. I lost absolutely everything. I hit more than rock bottom. I lost everything. Like I said, I was about to join the Army. My sister was going to take my daughter. I was a single mom at the time, and I was going to go join. I had nothing else to do, nowhere else to go other than sit in a corner and cry. And I had exhausted absolutely everything that I had. So what happened was I had originally formed my business that you saw a minute ago, My Business Lady, and I had worked in collaboration with a partner of mine where we utilized our technical writing experience and working for the state government in order to do little mini classes. And we did them we were making people laugh. It was just very, driven by comedy, because I like to laugh. I like people to laugh. I mean, life is too short for us to all, have a furrowed brow. We don't want wrinkles, right? We want to, always have a smile on our face. And someone happened to see me present one day, and they turned my information over to the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, more specifically the Phoenix MBDA Business Center. I was interviewed on a Thursday, got a job offer on Friday, and I started on Monday. So, by the grace of God, I did not have to do something that I did not want to do. So, which leads me to where I am today with my project and working with the Arizona. Thank you so much for that, for the hand clap, for working with the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, because the Phoenix MBDA, like many other programs that I'm going to tell you about, or my colleague and friend Erica is going to tell you about, that was one of the projects under the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So cut to the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the executive directors there, Monica Villalobos, who's the president, Suzette Comides, who's the vice president, and the former president recognized my other skill set, which is technical and business writing. So what they did was they hired me, they retained me to go after different grants. And we were awarded grant after grant after grant after grant, which was an amazing feat, but I don't take credit of doing that on my own. It takes everybody. It takes the whole team to provide input. And I always tell people, your words just different when it comes to writing different things, like the business plan, what we're going to talk about. So I know that's a long way around in terms of who I am, but I wanted you guys to get very comfortable with me, my role, and why I'm so passionate about the work that I do. So with that, I would love to know more about you. So if I may start with Ali, your name, your business, or your concept in your business, and then an interesting fun or fact about you, if you wouldn't mind. So thank you.
Yeah, so Ali, Brother Ali, as most people know me by, and I'm involved in a few different businesses here in the state. So Grassroots Bookstore is, interestingly, we didn't know this when we started it, but it's the only Black-owned bookstore in the state of Arizona. So we've been managing that for about a year and a half now. Straw and Wool, which is a hat store in downtown Phoenix, and an Archwood Exchange, which is a monthly buy Black marketplace that we've been running for 4 years. And all the, I guess the interesting part about what I do and what I'm involved in is a really untraditional path to where I've gotten or how I've gotten here. It really started as just trying to make a difference and trying to get to the root of the condition when it comes to inequality and exploitation of oppressed people in this country. And one of the main things that I noticed was the lack of economic power. And one of the ways to change that was through business. And so the focus was really on helping other people start businesses. I'm not a manager or I'm more of an idea person. And so was really just focused on trying to help people start businesses or help people grow them and things like that. And through the course of supporting the community and working in the community, when I had the opportunity to get involved in business of my own, the doors have just been opened up I think surely because of the work that we've been doing in the community for the last several years. And so now I'm at a point where we have multiple businesses that we're trying to operate at the same time, which is a unique challenge in and of itself. But it's very exciting, and the teams that are that we get to work with and the people that we get to work with at the same time is just a tremendous blessing. So that's it for me.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that introduction, and looking forward to visiting some of your shops. I definitely support local, so have to definitely stop by. So thank you. And then I see also Ms. Rachel Mohammed. So Ms. Rachel, please.
Good evening, and I'm gonna. Can you hear me?
A little bit. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so we can see you, but I can see you, but I think we got broken up just a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me now? My name is Rachel Muhammad. I am a grandmother of 3, mother of 4. I have been in the educational field for almost 40 years. Very close to moving on to a different phase in my life. People say, quote unquote, retirement. I call it, I'm going into another phase.
Okay.
My concept that I have been thinking about for a while has to do with the educational field in the early childhood education from birth to 3rd grade, which would encompass also a mental health side to that aspect. So along with nutrition as well as agriculture. So
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking about and been working on for a while, developing a concept that's something different, but for the younger age children.
Okay.
And adults as well.
Absolutely. I'll tell you right now, Ms. Rachel, there's a lot of resources out there for agriculture. So we're definitely going to have to keep in touch so we can talk a little bit more about that. So
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So nice to meet you, Brittany.
Hi, I am Brittany Anderson Martin. I am a consultant, so I consult primarily with nonprofit organizations, grant writing and strategy and business development.
Okay, and is that your business that you're doing right now, the grant writing, strategy, consulting, and everything? Wonderful.
Yes.
How do you enjoy grant writing? Does it make your hair turn gray? What's it do?
I think I like being able to tell the story, being able to just kind of have a conversation with the people who are on the ground doing the work and then translating that into something that can help other people visualize their impact. So I like it. That's honestly one of my newer ventures. I just started that in March with Phoenix L.O.C. actually. And I really liked the opportunity.
Okay. Well, my very best to you, grant writer to grant writer. I have had some very interesting evenings as recent as last week where I was up for about something hours answering additional questions. And I looked in the mirror and I scared myself. I mean, you just run into some of those nights. So my very best to you, Brittany, on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then we have Brother Tremikas.
All right. Greetings. My name, of course, is Brother Tremikas. I'm the chair of the Phoenix Local Organizing Committee. So I guess you can say that's my business. And I'm also involved, part owner with Grassroots Bookstore. I guess I have non-traditional paths as well. Most of what I do is just centered and focused on community work. And developing us as a community to be self-sufficient, independent, and really taking control of our future as a people. So that's my focus, and that's kind of the aim and idea behind all the work that we do. Hence the name Justice the L. If we can't get justice in this country, make sure we do it for ourselves. So that's it. That's my story.
Okay, well, thank you. And then finally, Saria.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Saria Gaylord, and let's see, my business is all about project management. So working with project management in different industries, nonprofits, corporations, small businesses, different industries. So, I enjoy what I do. I've been working with Karen it seems like we've been friends for over 10 years, but it hasn't even been that long. I think 3-4 years, maybe?
It's been since 2014, 15.
Yeah. So learned a lot from Karen. She actually got my business started with, like I said, certifications and get me on the right track, and kind of just exploded after that. So yeah, so just doing different projects. I like doing different projects because I get to learn different things from different people, and then taking that information and help building my business as well, and getting businesses to where they're at as well. So that's about it. Let's say fun facts. I do love to travel. But don't travel with Karen because she'll have you like going.
You guys all want to travel with me. Yes, you do. We'll get there. We'll get back home. Just like
But anyway, no, she's a great person to travel with. But yeah, my goal is actually to go to Egypt next year in 2022. That's the goal, but we'll see what happens.
And I'll be there right alongside you, Saria. So we're going together. So
well, you want to go to Rome, so Italy is all good too.
Yes, we'll go there too. We'll have to save. We'll have to save, you guys. We'll all save together. So
exactly. All right.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started. And again, Saria, thank you so much for bringing us all together. And my biggest thing with Saria, she said, knowing her for so long, once we get to know people, we often promote and lift up. I totally believe in lifting people up, and having worked with Saria, everybody who we introduced her to loves her. She has multiple contracts with the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which led to other contracts. So just happy to help. So thank you all again for this, for the introduction. So let me give some historical context. I know I'm not at the business project plan just yet, but I'm going to get there because I want you guys to understand how this all kind of comes together. So my job under NBEDC, it's federally funded by the Minority Business Development Agency, Bureau of Minority Business Development Agency. So my grant, or NBEDC, came about as a direct result of what's referred to as tribal consultations. So there were a lot of different tribes throughout the nation that was saying that MBDA wasn't really working with all minorities. Just to put it in perspective, because MBDA impacts each and every one of you. MBDA is the only federal organization tasked with working with minority businesses. Generally speaking, they work with companies that are generating over $1 million and above, or those who are in higher growth industries. Whereas by using a lot of the different programs they have available, it will help your business grow. So ergo the reason why what Saria had mentioned before, meeting us help her business grow and getting some other resources. And I'm hopeful you guys take advantage of some of these resources as well. So under my grant, what we do is we serve American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, and Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and on the Navajo Nation. However, recently we had submitted our proposal. Hopefully we get funded again. It looks promising, but till we get everything all situated. But with our grant, what we said, in addition to working with our indigenous populations, we're going to work with all minorities. The reason why is because we're mirroring what the mission of NBDA is and how it came to be. NBDA started through the Nixon's era. Nixon was trying to win the Black vote and realized he had to have the minority vote. So that's why this organization serves all minorities, to also include Hasidic Jewish. So we have a lot of community partners in what we do. Native American Fatherhood and Families Association being one of our official collaborating partners. They serve more than 10,000 Indigenous individuals nationwide and worldwide. And then we also have the University of Phoenix, who serves as our education partner. Spotted Horse Info Systems is our community liaison. And then Saria, she's part of our community collaborative. So Saria is located in Arizona, Utah, and Nevada, right alongside of all of us. A little bit more about the historical context and how this plays a role in this evening. The businesses or the core business development services that we do, we provide one-on-one technical assistance. We do classes and workshops on access to capital, contracts, bonding, procurement, teaming, a lot of different resources, ensuring that our businesses have the capabilities, skills, capacity to actually grow their business. Another thing that we do as well is export assistance. We make referrals to the USIACs, or the International Trade Administration, by the experts who know how to help people export their services. Saria has also taken advantage of that resource as well, and hopefully is now an exporter of services. So you have product and you have services. So Brother Tremikas, you had mentioned, about the bookstore and everything else. Have you considered exporting? So these are a couple of things. As you guys were talking, I just started notating some things, because there's definitely a market. We know that 98%, 95%, whatever the fact is, percent of business is done outside of the US. So how do we all on this phone line, how do we tap into those different markets when we're doing our exports? Also, manufacturing resources. We have a direct connection and nexus to another NBDA funded program that does advanced manufacturing. Right now, the person is helping me with six or seven of our clients. One who does ice cream cones. You guys may know her, Frances Stennis with Sassy Cones. And we have some others that are doing very unique construction pieces, and our folks within the network are helping. Our services under Nebedsi, if someone can unmute their line, just tell me, how much do you think it would cost a person to come and receive services from us? Any guesses? Okay, 1 million, 2 million? Anyone?
In costs, or how much would they have to be doing in sales?
No, how much to utilize our services? So with all the resources, expertise that our team has, providing all these different services, how much do you think it costs to take advantage, to sign up with us to help?
Oh yeah, maybe 25,000.
Okay, I'm gonna say lower. Any other guesses? I'll take
Somebody in chat said free.
Okay, who said free? Free, yes. Okay, absolutely. So that our services are of no charge. We are funded with taxpayers' dollars, and in our grant and our performance areas, we specifically wrote that these should be of no cost, because we want to make sure that we don't impact the little guy, especially right now while COVID's going on and people are starting to grow their business. And also, we are paid with your taxpayers' dollars already. So thank you, and thanks in advance for giving me a raise. Thank you, please, thank you. So, but yes, our services are at no charge. This right here is the team. I am the project director. I follow with my colleague, they call us the twins here, Peter Schwartz. He's a Native American tribal specialist, and he also works with all minorities and has been for over 30 something odd years. We also have a student intern. We have a project coordinator. I think you guys may have had the opportunity to meet with Roxana Montoya, who's our consultant and website administrator. We have another Native American business specialist and contractor, and then again, working with NAFA. Now, it's really interesting. I'm not sure if anybody's kind of catching the parallels here, because this is as diverse as you get. because we are also under the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is led by Monica Villalobos, and the vice president being Suzette Comides. So you have a grant supporting American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, all minorities in Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and the Navajo Nation, which is housed underneath the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce with a diverse staff who's led by a Black woman, right? So, I mean, it just shows where our passion is in terms of helping and supporting people. So now we get to start in with the business plan. Before I get started, were there any questions on any of the historical information? Nope, okay. So I'll keep moving along here. So, okay, thank you. So business plan strategies. So tonight we're going to talk about our business plan strategies and strengthening your business strategy. So the foundation to everything that you do. When I was Brittany, when I was listening to you and your business, Brother Chamikas, when I was listening to you, Mr. Ali, when I was listening to you, Miss Muhammad, when I was listening to you, everything that you do, it's always in your head, right? But if it's in your head, it's the dream. We need to put it down on paper so that we can actually have a strategy and a goal. And so all that equates to having a business plan. So who can tell me when is the time to use a business plan? Okay, you guys are all talking over each other.
All the time. I'm gonna say all the time.
You went word for the catch-all. Okay.
Right.
Anyone else? Right now. Okay, you said right now. So here's some times when to use it. To track your business progress, for investors, for loans and line of credit, which is also a modified version. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a second. I'm actually going to show you. For your break-even analysis in your financials, for grant responses. So Brittany, you are using a certain component of business planning strategies when you're writing grant responses, and also responses to bid opportunities. So how many of, I'm not sure, show of hands, thumbs up, something can tell me if you are familiar or have heard that the government buys everything. Have you all heard that before when people say, what does the government buy? The government buys everything. Well, in order, okay, so when the government buys everything, you're responding to a bid opportunity. That's how they buy. That's their procurement process. And part of that procurement process is directly aligned to your business planning goals, strategies, marketing, and what have you. So with that, and there's a catch-all, everything, as I heard. So, so here's some advice and components of a business plan. So I always say, know your audience when writing your business plan. I'm going to say, know your audience when you're writing any document. Always talk to whom you're writing to. A lot of people have asked, why am I successful with writing grants? Because I'm talking to my audience. I've always been talking to my audience. When I worked for the governor's office, the governor at the time, she may have been, a little left to the center or middle, but the Joint Legislative Budget Committee, those are the people who oversee all the money. They were extremely far right. Now, when I was writing grants for the state, they were going through. Why? Because I knew the audience. I wasn't writing to her, I was writing to them. Same with grants, same with your business plan, same with anything that you do, know your audience. The second piece, and this is again, some advice, keep your documents together. You have an LLC, if you have your LLC already, make sure to always keep that document, because that first set of documents that you receive, those are your originals. Most of your LLCs that you're gonna receive usually have like a blue ink signature on there, and maybe computerized, but at least it's gonna be considered your original. Keep your legal documents together. If you're trademarking your information, keep all your attorney documents or all your trademark information also together. And use free templates like the SCORE business plan. This is something that I'm going to send out to everyone through Saria. I don't want to put it online. You can certainly Google it right now if you want to. I prefer that you hang tight because I don't want you to get intimidated by a lot of the things that are in there. I always tell people we're going to fill in the pieces that we know and go back and backfill as we start growing our business. And then also with your business plan, set a date and review your business plan at a fixed time. So oftentimes I've seen people write their business plan and then they never go back and review it. A business plan is something that needs to be reviewed quarterly or yearly, so you can understand where you were, where you're trying to be, where you were, where you are, and where you're trying to be. So you're trying to kind of figure that all out through your business plan. These are some of the components of the business plan. I'm going to hit some of these in more areas than none. I'm going to show some examples of these. The executive summary, which is first on the list on a business plan, it's last when you're actually writing the document. So any of us who had to write any type of forms or grants or anything, we always know that it's hard to write something in the very beginning. You start writing and you have to go back and think about it and reevaluate it and go back and do it again. And the reason why is because traditionally your executive summary is something that should be done last. So your executive summary is your overview, your description of your products, your services, your markets, your experience, essentially your capabilities, your skills, your competencies, and capacity to do the work. So if you can remember that, that's what goes into your executive summary. And then also it's selling your company within a 2-minute read. So as you're doing the elevator pitch, just think about your executive summary, something comparable to that. The next piece is your company's description, your mission statement. What is your company's mission of selling or helping, or what your goals are? And then your vision statement. So an example of a vision statement, I'm actually going to show you 2 that I know right off the bat, but I always remembered Apple. They back in the day, their vision statement was an Apple computer on every desk. Let me take you back to a couple of different things for the vision statement, which I thought was exceptional. Right here. So you have your mission statement, and you have a vision statement, and you have your tagline. So advancing ambitious project goals through project management. That is a mission and that's a vision. And a tagline is remove barriers, maximize productivity. One of my favorite ones of the evening for a tagline, for justice or else. I saw that and I'm like, there you go, done, dropping the mic. I don't even have a mic, so I'll drop my pen, right? So, I mean, it's just, these are really, really good and they're catchy, but they're effective. So these are some examples right off the bat. Let's talk about some more. Let me get back there. So let's talk more about the mission statement. What's your company's mission? So here are some examples. Before we go through these, does anybody have a mission statement or example that they would like to share? Brother Ali, were you thinking deep in thought on one?
I have one. I didn't turn my camera on to share it. I just turned my camera on, but I don't mind sharing it. It's Lord, I don't forget it. It's Lord, I forgot it. I have to look it up.
Okay, well, scream at me when we come back to if it comes to you. Does anyone have a mission statement to share? Okay, so here's a couple that I found that were really, to me, I always look at things good versus effective. I'm an effective type of person. Good is good, right? Effective is going to get my attention. It's going to hold my concentration. So here are some that I found to be some of my top favorite ones. Of course, the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And one of the reasons why is because of this phrase right here. It says to promote the success of Hispanic and minority-owned businesses. So for me, when I look at their mission, I think of inclusionary. They are not an exclusionary organization, they are inclusionary. The next one that I see is Macy's. Yes, I love Macy's. I hope you all do too. So Macy's was also one of my favorite ones. And then TED, which was very simple, spread ideas. And then you see Amazon's here to be Earth's most customer-centric company where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online. They have hit the nail on the head when it comes to their mission and this being their vision statement as well. And then of course, Southwest Airlines to become the world's most favorable, oops, I lost my thing here, most loved, most flown, and most profitable airline. So those are a couple of examples of a mission statement. So having a mission statement, it's pretty important to your business plan because why do you exist? Who do you serve? Why are you serving them? So if you can think about when you're creating your mission, and feel free to run it by me, run it by each other, run it by Saria to see if it catches our attention. Oh, okay, thank you, Brother Ali. So inspiring and cultivating entrepreneurship throughout the African diaspora as a means to create opportunity and equality through enterprise. That's a very strong statement. That's very, very strong. So thank you for sharing that. The next one, so we said your turn of mission statement. Does anybody want to take a stab at just kind of creating one right now? Everyone all at one time does? Don't have me call on you. Please don't. Okay, Saria. Saria, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thanks, Saria, for volunteering, for raising your hand. So, Saria, when you were putting together your mission statement, what came to mind?
Well, putting a mission statement together, it takes some time to think about what direction you're going in, right? So it does take some time, and I usually do a little journal, and I recommend that people do that. Like when you're trying to create something, just write stuff down. It may not make sense to you right then and there, but when you go back and start reading it and reviewing it, I think things come together, right? But you have to know where you're going.
Right.
What direction are you going? And like you said, who's that target market? When I was doing exporting, and you know this, I was trying to get into export. I was like, well, what country can I get into? Right? I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, I work with the Hispanic Chamber, okay, and I know that a lot of Hispanic businesses need my services. Well, I was like, well, why not go to Mexico? I mean, it's right there, right? Let's try to get into Mexico, and and does it kind of line up to what I'm doing in my business as well? Because not all countries need your services, so you just kind of have to just kind of go there and see what's needed, and work with an agency. I work with the Arizona Commerce Authority to kind of help me see if there's a market there. But again, does it really line up to where I'm going, and what direction am I going in? Does it all merge? So I actually have a new mission statement. You want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So every year I redo my website. Every year I redo my business plan. Right. So right now, my mission statement is creating a customized project management process designed for your unique business.
I love it. I love it, because now everything that you talked about, you made it centric to your customer, and
Yes.
so you explained exactly what you did, and it's for your customer. So I think that's fantastic. I think that's great. So that means, Saria, everybody.
Can you say it one more time?
It's creating a customized project management process designed for your unique business. And so when I thought about this, I thought about all the projects that I've been working on and what exactly am I doing, right? So when I come on projects, I'm creating a process, I'm creating structure, I'm creating systems, right? So I took all of that. I was like, okay, I'm creating a customized process for your unique business, because not every business is the same, and every business is going to need different processes, different structures, different systems. And I'm here to help create that so you can replicate it for different other things that you do in other different projects. So, but again, I don't know if a mission statement, it doesn't come like right away. You gotta kind of think about it. You gotta read things. You gotta look at like the stuff that you've done before, the projects that you've done before, your customers. Do you really want to go after that crazy customer, or do you want to move somewhere else, right?
Right.
And you kind of take care of all of that into consideration and say, okay, this is where I'm going, and this is, my mission statement. So, yeah.
And there's a couple of different things that are out there. I always say, jot down, like Saria already nailed it, because she talked about her customer and what she did. So it's very customer centric and driven. And, you may want to dance around, see everybody else in industry. Whom are your competitors? What does their mission, vision statement look like? What do their taglines look like? And kind of get it from there. So, but remember, let it make sense. make sure it makes sense. So thank you so much for that, Saria. I'm going to talk now about the vision statement and or the taglines. So we got to C2 right off the bat. And then here's a couple of other vision statements. So remember, these are things that are the fun. These are the attainable, like I shared before, Apple computer on every desk, you know. So here's a couple of vision statements to be the best quick service restaurant experience, which is McDonald's. I can't see because I got my thing here. We got some stuff from Costco, driving innovation to enrich people's lives by Nissan. So, I mean, they have the play on words with Nissan and everything else being a car company. And then you see their competitor Honda to serve people worldwide with the joy of expanding their life's potential. You know, lead the advancement of mobility and enable people everywhere in the world to improve their daily lives. If you think about that, the reason why it's because Honda and Nissan aren't just car companies. They also do medical devices and a couple of other things. So you can kind of see what their vision is. And then of course the different taglines. So I say for your tagline, keep it short, simple, to the point. With your vision statement, make sure it's attainable. Are there any questions on mission, vision, tag?
Yeah, Karen, I want to add as well, you know, part of your vision mission should be your story. What's your story? You know, how did you come to develop this business? You know, take that in consideration. Some businesses have powerful stories that you can take and develop a mission vision from it. So
yes, and to dovetail with that, Saria, make sure it always aligns to your audience, because you kind of have to sometimes reel them in. I don't know if my story, what I shared earlier, resonated with others, but it told who I was and what I did and my background. So same with the vision statement, you know, how is that going to impact the other people that you're, you know, whomever you're trying to reach out to, coordinate with, be a customer of, for, by, you know. So thank you. And then, okay, so we'll keep on moving. So no, does anybody want to shout out a vision statement, something quick, fun? I'm telling you, I'm going to call on people from now on. I feel like I'm all alone. All I have is Brother Ali and Saria with me. And Brother Tremikas wants to put his stuff in the text. You can talk to us.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm
I'll throw out. Oh, go ahead. Somebody have one?
No, Saria was.
I got one. Oh, okay. I got one I'll throw out. I don't know if this is quite a vision or mission. It's something that we've been using with the bookstore, but I haven't formalized anything. But we exist to create a more enlightened and compassionate society.
Yes.
So that be more of a mission or a vision or tagline?
To me, that's more of a vision statement. That's what your goal is. In a perfect world, that's what it would be. Think about that. In a perfect world, say it again. So in a perfect world.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we exist to create a more enlightened and compassionate society.
Yeah. See how that kind of flows? So in a perfect world, Apple computer on every desk. You know, in a perfect world, Saria, what was yours again for your vision?
Always memorize your vision. Creating a customized project management process designed for your unique business.
Okay. And so for my own business, which is called My Business Lady, my tagline is taking care of all your writing needs. So when people call me, the reason why I went with the company name My Business Lady is because people kept saying, oh, talk to Karen, she's my business lady. So I tried to make sure when people call, it's like, talk to Karen, my business lady. So I just made it more official. Okay, so Brother Tremikas, do you want to read to us what you put into the chat?
Okay, can y'all hear me? Because I'm in a noisy place.
That's okay.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, describe to us your vision.
Okay, so this is the company is the Black Independence Network. And the tagline is the information to your independence, eye to eye. That work?
Oh, eye to eye. Okay, I get it. I see.
That makes sense.
I see your eye to eye. At first I thought it was 1-to-1, but yes. Yes, I see that. Okay. So that,
well, if it's 1-to-1, if it looks like 1-to-1, that doesn't work.
That's how I, when I first read it, I read it 1-to-1. So it may be just, don't worry about it. It's the font. Sometimes we got to make sure the font reads okay. I'm sure you guys have seen some funny things when fonts don't look right. And this is something that's on the computer. So, but in your perfect world, you have your Black Independence Network and the information to your independence eye to eye. Expound on it a little bit more.
Am I answering the question?
Well, tell me a little bit more. Like, help me understand what does that mean? Because when I read it, Black Independence Network, to me, that makes perfect sense. You're trying to have a Black Independence Network. So that's very crystal clear. And it says the information to your independence.
So what we're doing is taking everything the Phoenix L.O.C. does, and we're showing you how to do that at your hand. So at your home, right, with your family. So we teach gardening, so we'll teach you gardening. Self-defense, we'll teach you that. Just whatever it is that we do as a group for the community, we want to show you how to do that yourself, where you don't necessarily have to be part of an organization or a group that's doing it. You establish that form of independence yourself in your own home. That makes sense. So you grow your own food. So you don't have to go to the grocery stores.
Independence.
You're free in that way. That makes sense?
It does. It does. See, you had to expound on it a little bit more. So all the extra pieces that So all the other pieces that you just shared, considering moving that up to your mission and telling, like Surya said, tell the story as to why, making you independent through, growing your own foods or sustainability practices or, what have you. So consider some parts of this being part of your mission. But no, thank you for sharing. Is there anyone else that would like to share?
Well, I have a comment for Ali. Maybe yours is because when I think of bookstore, I think of information and technology. So, my suggestion would put in something in there about technology being available, I don't know. Just a thought.
Technology.
Huh?
I said we're bad at technology.
Well, you can always get good.
You know what? Let that be the tagline. We're bad at technology, so come into our bookstore today.
You're right.
There's always something, because and that I mean, it's funny, but the truth of the matter is not 100% of people are technically savvy. Okay. I mean, a lot of us were forced into Zoom over the past, year, however long this pandemic has been around. A lot of our elders or people who are, aging population. I mean, it's not that they're so old, they can't do anything. It's just learning a new trade, a new skill. So if you're bad at technology, come to our bookstore, I mean.
We'll be bad together.
That's the place.
Okay, so I'm going to keep moving on here. So going on here to the right side here, we talk about in your business plan, you're going to want to detail the different products and services that you have, whether they're standard or unique. So the bookstore, the grant writing skills, the working with youth, from birth until, to whatever age. You're going to talk about the actual detailed services that you provide. So let's see here. Miss Rachel, I'm calling on you. If you can join us here for 1 second. Tell us more about some details of the detailed services that you provide from birth to 5 years old. Is there something very specific that you provide?
A learning experience that does not hold a child back. Just say, for example, if you are 5 years old and you could do algebra, we would teach you, enhance your algebra skills. If you're 3 years old and you're reading sight words at a first or second grade level, we won't hold you back.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting the child where they are.
Okay, meeting the child where they are. So the services, so think about your business plan. It should be so crystal clear when I open up your business plan to say, Miss Rachel Muhammad's business is providing this service for this age group. So she is going to, of course, meet the students where they are, but this is where in the business plan where you get so specific and so detailed, it's left no room for error, for misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the services that you provide. So for instance, if you are helping youth with algebra or specific math, Miss Rachel's company provides, math instruction in these specific areas, algebra, DiffyQ, evaluations, whatever it is. You're very, very specific in terms of these services that you're actually providing. So that's just to give a for instance. Tell me another service that you would provide.
I would provide a service for children as, within the teaching them how to read, as well as providing that same service for family members, adult family members that want to enhance their reading skills.
Okay, so think about it like this too. Think about this as being a menu that you're offering. So you have a menu of services. You have math, reading, social skills, physical activity, farming, what you had shared earlier, a couple of different things. And then you break down each of those and who they are for. This service is intended for those who are youth to family, and this is the services that we provide. This service is only for our youth entering grades, blah, blah, blah. These are the very specific services that we provide. This service is for X, Y, and Z. So it's a menu of services. It's very, very, very specific. So I hope that makes sense. Let me see here. Brittany, I call on you next because I know you're like, Karen, call on me. So Brittany, I'm calling on you. So Brittany.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Brittany, tell me about a very specific service. So if you had to create your business plan right now on the spot, tell me about a service that you provide and how would you detail that in your business plan?
Okay, so a service that I provide is, I think, sorry, I have light behind me. Okay, I could do grant writing, but I think I'll do capacity building services for nonprofits. So just kind of helping organizations develop their strategic process, their strategic timeline, and how they can get to how they can establish their objectives, turn those into actions and an actual action plan, and then build that into their day-to-day work to achieve their objectives.
Okay, so for yours with capacity building, I would explain exactly what it is, because oftentimes people don't know what they don't know. So sometimes we have to elaborate a little bit more and provide a little bit more context and definition behind what it is. So my suggestion, Brittany, if you were to write yours right now today, you would say, this is what it is. This is what it means for capacity building. And these are the services that we're going to provide, the timelines, the scope, all that detailed work that you had just mentioned. So this way you're providing a true overview. So again, anybody can pick it up and say, oh, okay, that's what's in her business plan. That's what she provides. Make sure when you are describing your products and services, and I can't emphasize this enough, make sure that it leaves no room for, any vagueness in the gray. Make sure it's crystal clear, black and white. So thank you so much, Brittany. There's another person on here. I don't think we've had the opportunity to meet. Jermaine, welcome and very nice to meet you. Jermaine, can you share with us a service that you would provide?
Yes, good evening. Yeah, I'm having technical issues right now, so I'm switching back and forth between my phone and my laptop.
Okay.
Yeah, what I do, I'm actually writing a business plan for video on demand service, movies. So I haven't thought that far yet as far as a mission statement.
Okay.
I just put together a pitch deck for it, but I didn't even come up with a mission statement.
Okay, no worries on the mission statement, but a service. Like, so tell me about
So
a
the service, the service would be, for movies. It's like having a movie theater experience. So the service I'm providing is content for the family, content for children, films for a couple night, things like that. So that service would be coming to watch a movie.
Okay, so if I never heard about your company,
Mhm.
I was doing a Google search and I just happened to land on your business plan page and I just typed in movie plan for the night couples, why would I land on your page? Like what information would you provide for me and my husband, or my friend and their spouse, or what have you? Why your services? What specific line item are you going, or what descriptor are you going to tell me about the service that you're planning? Like, excuse me, choked on it there. Are we coming to your place to watch this movie? Are you
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's a video on demand. It's online. So you would,
video on demand? Okay.
yeah. So it's online. It's not a brick and
Okay.
mortar. That's a good question. Now you're making me think about, because I'm just putting it together now. So I'm still forming all my ideas, but my target audience, I just mentioned, is basically, families, also teenagers, because each film category would cater to each demographic. And then it's also, then you have the different genres of film. So everybody can pick and choose at that point. Subscription-based service. But yeah, that's a good question. Why would you? That's something I need to think about and putting together.
So when you're thinking about that, I mean to interrupt because I'm gonna cut you off for 1 second, because
Sure.
we're talking about all of this. Everything that you're describing needs to also be put into the marketing piece, your search engine optimization. Like I said, if I'm going on the internet and I'm typing in, movies for couples and blah, blah, blah. Well, if I type in movies for couples now, one of my assumptions to be made is that it's going to come up with Hulu, Netflix tonight, Netflix and all these other catchy phrases. So for yours too, I'm sure that you're going to have that catchy phrase, but for you, that's what's setting you apart on demand. So you have, all these very, very, very unique services that you're providing. And so if I were to help you with your business plan, I would actually give us very strong overview, on-demand videos, or, Jermaine's on-demand videos, are include, we pull from over 10,000 all over the world in different languages. And, they are all reviewed to fit this criteria for adults, youth, kids, or what have you. And type in some keywords to find a video on demand for you. These are a couple of different things, because everything that we're describing, it's going to also be included in your marketing piece and your search engine optimization. And also what you're describing too is something very, very unique. So, so I think that's great. And, let us know how we can do to help to support you. I'm telling you right now, I'm not a movie watcher. For me, it's 30 minutes or less, but I'll tell you what, as soon as you're, I'm going to watch the movie. How about that?
Tell you what, no, I cater to you too, because I'll have a section for short films as well. So
yes, yeah.
Wonderful.
And we just had someone new join us. So Bilal and Rahim, hello. We'll come back to you. Okay, so moving on here, we have
about making sure.
What's that?
No, I'm sorry, I was talking to my wife. I meant to mute myself.
Okay. Okay, so the next piece here, we're going to look at marketing plans. So in your business plan, you're going to have a whole marketing plan component. The number one thing that we should all be doing is researching our competition or those who are in like industries. So when we look at the bookstore piece, we're going to also look at Amazon. We're going to look at what's in the mall. We're going to look at, I don't even know any bookstores anymore. Forgive me. I think I'll digress for 1 second. I was on a panel a couple of years ago and someone asked me, Karen, what was the last book you read? And I was the last person to answer. And I tried to pass the mic away. And they were like, answer the question. I was like, I don't know, like In Touch magazine, because I'm not a reader. So you need to get me out there reading more, right? And being, technology is also sometimes not my friend, Brother Ali and everybody else. But, research our competition. So who's out there that's in the bookstore? Who's out there that's, a project manager? Who's out there that's a business writer? Who's out there working with our youth? Who's out there, creating fabulous hats? Who's out there doing all this work? Research the competition, because once you're able to research them, kind of mirror some of the things that they're doing with their SEO and enhance it. Let me see here. Yes, Jermaine, the slides are available. Everything I'm sharing tonight, it's all yours. After the meeting, I'll send it right on over to Surya. And then also your website development. I know you guys had an opportunity to talk to Roxana Montoya a couple of weeks ago, and I believe she may have shared a couple of different things about marketing and everything else in your website development. For me, I get, I'm the end user. I'm not a website developer by any means, never have been, don't pretend to be. So for me, I always tell people I'm your perfect audience. Make sure I understand what you're trying to promote and what you're trying to sell. If you are trying to sell to, if you have two different industries that you're trying to sell to. So for instance, Surya can sell to the government. She can also sell to non-government. So on her website, she may have two different entry points. It may be OIS L.L.C. Click here if you're government, click here if you're not. And then from there, it will be different pieces of information. So she'll definitely know her target audience. So when you're doing your website development, we remember a hot second ago, I talked about search engine optimization. So search engine optimization, meaning keywords and phrases that not only that you would use, but your target audience would use too. So if I were to be looking for a certain bookstore, I would, and you want me to find your book or your bookstore, I would put in unique bookstores, bookstores for minority reading or minority books or books that were written by, Black, African-American. I would type in every single keyword and phrase that you think people would be searching. And think again about your audience. You have such a diverse audience. So think in terms of how they would search. So for me, just to give an example, again, my company name is My Business Lady. Don't look at my website. It should have been down a long time ago. But for me, when I was doing my search engine optimization, one of the reasons why mine kept appearing at the top for resume services or business planning services, my clients were in Afghanistan, Dubai, and Germany. And the reason why, I just started setting my keywords. I wanted to go where I was following the money. So I knew working with our servicemen and women in these different countries, I was going to get more money, and I had a different and unique approach. So anytime someone would say, service person or military, and I was actually putting the specs in there. So Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, business development services, getting out soon. I was using words and phrases that I believe they were using. And so I ranked pretty high when it came to doing different writing services. So understand who your audience is. The next piece is marketing again to different audience. I had mentioned government services, federal, state, local, and also to your private sector. Just the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce, if you will, or a national chamber of commerce. Just know who your different audience is. The other piece is a capability statement. Now, Surya will be giving away $1 million gift card if someone can tell me the purpose of a capability statement.
State your capabilities.
What's that?
I said state your capabilities.
Okay, so, okay, very generic answer. I'm giving you the $1 million gift card. You got to tell me a little bit more. So tell me more about the capability statement. What's its purpose? What is it?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, so capability resume. You lost $1 million gift card. See, we put it out there and we were going to tap it straight into Surya's account and get you that gift card all taken care of. So capability statement is it's your business capabilities. Essentially, it's your business resume. I'm going to stop the share for one hot second because I'm going to show you some examples. And how am I doing on time? So Surya, I'm at 7:40 and I'm coming almost to the end. Shall I keep going or do you want me for a break?
Yeah, go ahead and keep going unless you want to break. So if you got what, maybe 10, 15 more minutes? Something
like that. I think we can push through. We'll push it. So let me show you guys some examples. Hang tight for one hot second. 1 second, please. Get this out, capability statements. Let me open them all up at one time. So remember I said your capability statement is your business resume. The ones that I'm about to show you, I have permission from all parties to be able to show these to you. So here's the first one. This one is, it's called Bear Advanced Solution Group. Now we're going to talk about certifications. That's going to be the next, that's what's going to take up the 10 minutes are the certification information. This company right here, these are their capabilities. Here's their address, their direct phone number, their logo, and here's what they're experts in. So you have their DUNS number, you have their cage code. So a DUNS number, it stands for Dun and Bradstreet number. It's used actually to track your performance in terms of work that you've done, government, non-government. All their different certifications, which we're going to talk about if you're a veteran, minority, women, if you live in a historically underutilized zone, lots of different things. This right here is their expertise, and here's how they're leading the way. This is what differentiates them from others. This information right here, technology they use, their bonding capacity, as you can imagine, this would blow others out of the water. 10 million for single, 40 million for aggregate. And then some of their high profile projects. So one for 10.3 million, here's a picture of that. Wouldn't we all like to have a little share of that today? Here's a couple of other things here, some of their other projects and the dollar amounts that they've done. So this right here is an example of a capability statement. So again, your business resume. This one right here is, this is for our IT company. So this right here has also their filings information is very targeted to government. Their clearance, whether they're actually top secret clearance staff and facility, all of their information, their NAICS code. So another word for NAICS, if you will, if you think about a taxonomy or a categorization code, that's all a NAICS code is with some digits in front of it. Here's their capabilities. This is what's setting them apart. Here's their high profile clients, their contact information, and some of their past performance with dollar amounts. Two more, and I'll do these relatively quick. This one, you may know this company's person, Saria. This is her company with OYS. And right front and center, remove barriers, maximize productivity. And we're going to change her vision statement or her mission statement there. Here's what's setting her apart from others, everything that she does. Her NAICS code, again, those categorization codes and all of her certifications, what's setting her apart, and her high profile clients. And she has all these amazing certifications after her name too. Finally, this one right here is a government one that's mixed with people who team and partner with others. So if you guys know anybody who's in construction, this would be similar to how theirs may want to be structured. So here's their level of expertise, all their different certifications that they serve, their industries, their high profile clients. And I'm sure you guys are getting the pattern, high profile clients, their NAICS codes or their categorization, who are they serving, and their past performance here. Are there any questions on a capability statement? Because we're going to talk about this during the next class. Are there any questions?
So that I'm clear, the capability statement is similar to a resume, or is it similar? You're just basically stating what you're capable of doing or what you've done already.
Essentially, it's your business resume. So it's talking about your skills, what's differentiating you from any other business, your, some of your success stories, if you will, which we saw on, the different dollar amounts and the projects that they've worked with, and then the high profile clients. So I see it definitely as your business resume. That's how I've always seen it.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So that's, like I said, we're going to talk more in detail the next time about capability statements. If everyone's open to that, I can do that during the next one. If we're all good there. Show of hands or thumbs up if that's what we want to talk about during the next future meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. The next piece is, of course, a SWOT analysis, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I will send that again. All this is going to be sent over to you in a nice, beautiful packet because I'm sending you the SCORE business plan. and then also how you want to be marketed online. The final 10 minutes that I'm going to talk about, we already talked about the capability statement. We already did that. Two other parts relatively quick. The other piece that I had talked about before, my understanding with the goal of this group, we want to talk about how can you become bankable. And one of the things on a business plan is showing your cash flow or your cash flow projections. Here's an example. Don't let this overwhelm you or intimidate you by any means. Let this just enlighten you for a second. This right here is an example of a break-even analysis. It details everything, you know, beginning on where they were with their finances, where they think they're going to be, and where they're going to break even. So if you were to get a business loan, oftentimes the very first thing a bank is always going to say is, show me your financials. Oftentimes they don't get into the grassroots like we just did in terms of creating a business plan. They are not in the business of owning a business. They're in the business of finding out when are you going to make your profit and when are they going to get paid back. So this right here is an example of that. Here's another one. You have to also show your P&L statement, your profit and loss. So here's an example of one. And for those of you who are not QuickBooks savvy, I would encourage you to check with Saria, because she can tell you more about the importance of using QuickBooks and being able just to be able to push a button and get your P&L statement, your profit and loss statement. And then when we talked about marketing, here are just some examples I just wanted to show you. So one other thing I want to show you, and I promise this will now take up the last 5 minutes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to talk about certification information. Any questions on a break-even analysis or anything? Would a startup need a P&L? Well, if you don't have one, what they're going to do is they're going to do some projections, Jermaine. They're going to ask you, where do you believe you're going to be? And they're going to want to know your break-even analysis. So that's going to parallel your P&L statement. So at what point do you think you are going to be making a profit? So the next piece that I'm showing you right now is the final piece, which are certifications. Who, by a show of hands, scream of voice, smoke signal, anything, could tell me if they've ever heard of getting a certification to be able to get a different job based on being a minority, based on being a woman? Has anyone heard this before?
No.
No? No one at all? Okay. Hi, Jermaine. Nice to see you. So with that, I'm going to tell you some about certifications. So certifications, there's different types of certifications depending on if you are a minority, if you are a woman, if you are a disadvantaged business person, if you are a veteran, if you're a service disabled veteran, if you're an economically disadvantaged woman. There are certifications depending on where your business is located. And each one of these certifications serves a very unique purpose. For instance, and I'm going to send this to you guys too, because it has every single link, has all the information. I did all the homework for you. So this one, for instance, you have the MBE, Minority Business Enterprise Certification. This is done by a private entity here in Arizona called the Pacific Southwest Minority Supplier Diversity Council, or most people call it the NMSDC. You got to say things really fast when you're going and saying acronyms. So theirs does have a cost, ranges from $350 to $1,100 depending on the size of the business. And there's information that's needed to apply. Just to let you know, under this certification, they got to take you no matter where you are. If you started your business yesterday and you have an LLC, they got to take you. You have to be able to provide them with only the information that you have. If you don't have it, or if it's not applicable to your business as of today, you just have to explain why. So the benefits to this one is that you get to have, access or nexus, if you will, to big chain organizations. So you have Starbucks, Walmart, Volvo, Hertz, Sodexo Magic, which is owned by Magic Johnson. You have a connection to these companies. You still have to bid. You still have to go through the entire process, but it puts you that much closer. So let me give a for instance for that. You have Miss Rachel, you have me, you have Jermaine, you have Brittany. Out of the four of us, I'm the only one who has a certification. Now, Miss Rachel, you've been in business for 15 years. I've been in business for 3 years. Jermaine, you've been in business for 40 years. Brittany, you've been in business for 8 years. I'm still the one with the certification. So it's a very selective process. It goes through a review cycle. So they're very selective in terms on, you know, when a person has a certification, can they perform the work? So there's a couple of things that are the interest for MBE. So my suggestion is you guys go ahead and take a deeper dive and take a look at that. The other piece here, this is a local certification, and this is provided at zero cost to you. And this is a disadvantaged business enterprise. So under this certification, depending on where you're located, if you're in the Phoenix metro area or Maricopa County, there's different ways to apply, Tucson and other areas. So essentially, again, there's other different set-aside programs. So when you're looking at jobs like being performed on the freeway or buildings that are being developed or constructed, oftentimes they have what's referred to as a goal. So sometimes those goals are written in percentages. So let's say 10%. They want 10% of any worker on a job, let's say the freeway, to have 10% DBE participation. DBE stands for disadvantaged business enterprise. So a person can be disadvantaged because they are socially and or economically disadvantaged. So I tend to look at, and I could probably get my hand slapped, but I'm just going to say it. It could be a minority. It could be a woman. There's different reasons why a person would be disadvantaged enterprise. And then they also have constraints in terms of dollar value and threshold that you're bringing in. So for instance, if you have a code, remember we talked earlier about NAICS codes or categorization codes. If that code has a certain dollar or threshold that you can't be more than, you know, making $15 million in 3 years for your contracts, you're not going to qualify because you're no longer considered a small business. But that's for a discussion over a different day, and we can talk about the ins and outs of the certifications too at a later date. Just want to highlight some of these. And then you also have WASB and ED-WASB, women-owned small business, economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, or WEB as well. So this is also done by a third-party entity, and for ours, it's WEBEC West, and they're a phenomenal group of people who do the certifications, and they also have fees. So if you are a women business enterprise, the way that I have seen this being used in federal government side, I have seen a project for, I believe it was the Federal Aviation Administration, if I'm not mistaken. And it was something dealing with like construction site services, and they had a very specific site or set aside for women. Very interesting. I'm gonna check the chat here. So Jermaine, okay, I think I answered that first part, 3 years projection. What is the advantage of a certification? Well, if you have a certification, at times you, even though you still have to prove that you are responsible, that you have past performance and can actually do the work, if there's a specific set aside for those with the certification, you may come in above others. So I shared before with Miss Rachel, myself, Jermaine, Brittany, we can all be doing the same work and everybody can have a lot more experience than me. I could have been in business for 4 years. But if I have the certification and there's a set aside, I'm going to be looked at a little bit more strongly than the others. So there's definitely sometimes an advantage of having the certifications. Before you get a certification, I suggest that you reach out to Saria, talk to her, call me, talk to me, and we can talk about which, whoops, I don't know what I just did. We can talk about which ones would work better for you. And then we also have the veteran-owned small business enterprise and service disabled veteran. Let me know, is there anyone online here who's a veteran? No, okay. If you know of any, they have their very own SDVOSB and a VOSB, veteran-owned small business, service disabled veteran-owned small business. The advantage of this one, I always call it the power of two. If you have at least 2 people going after a contract that has a specific set aside for a VOSB or SDVOSB, oftentimes they have to pick at least one of the 2. So again, to answer the question in terms of why the benefit, if I'm a veteran, Jermaine, you're not, Brittany, you're not, Brother Ali, you are not, and we're all going after these bid opportunities, and there's a set aside for a VOSB or SDVOSB, and I just happen to have the certification, although you guys have 20 years on me, again, there's still goals that have to be counted. Most likely I may get that job. The next one is a hub zone, historically underutilized zone. When Saria sends this out, there is a hub zone map. I would suggest that you put your business address in that hub zone map to see if you are indeed in a hub zone. If you are, and 30% of your staff, to include yourself, also reside in a hub zone, you may qualify for a hub zone certification. That's a beautiful program. What I appreciate most about the hub zone program is that they don't believe once a hub zone, always a hub zone. Oftentimes, if you are in a historically underutilized zone, these are areas where you're going to have low to moderate income or disadvantaged areas near airports. Most of the time, Native American communities and tribal entities or areas will qualify for a hub zone certification. What happens is when you get some of these grants that fall under a hub zone, oftentimes they have to pay you higher wages. So now the people in your company are getting paid at a higher wage. Now they're giving back to their communities. The communities are growing and thriving stronger. So there's definitely an advantage to seeing if you may qualify for a hub zone. But again, please do all your reading on that. And that's all I had for the certification pieces. And Saria, I think that's all I had. I think we all may be on information overload. So are there any questions for me?
Yeah, excuse me. Pardon me, I came in late. So we didn't get a proper introduction. So who are you?
Well,
And what do you do? I'm just playing.
well, first of all,
I'm just asking.
No worries. Jermaine, first of all, nice to meet you, and I'm glad that you joined us. So good evening to you. So my name is Kaaren-Lynn, and I'm one of the project directors at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And I support a grant called NABEDSI. And NABEDSI, we provide business and development services for American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, and other minorities in Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and on the Navajo Nation. So essentially what we do is provide services to access to capital, contracts, bonding, procurement, teaming, and a whole gamut of services to ensure our businesses are thriving. So that's who I am.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Oh,
So
my name is Jermaine Shoulders. I'm a writer and director, screenwriter and director. I own my own production company. It's a multimedia production company, so I write television and film.
Okay.
I'm also the chair of the Ministry of Information. So I manage and run our media arm, which is the Waking Giant, TWG. And I'm the host of the show, of one of the shows on there as well. So.
Okay, and forgive me, I missed the first part. Now, was that for podcast or is that because you screen and film?
Oh yeah. I write for film, television, and screenplays. Stage plays as well.
Stage plays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a playwright as well. So.
Well, guess what? I am one of the newest members to the board at the Herberger Theater. So let's learn how to use our different connections and maybe make some introductions when the time's appropriate, right? Yes.
That sounds good.
Yes, yes. So I serve on a couple of different boards. The Herberger is my newest one that I serve on. I also serve on one for the City of Phoenix for the Workforce Development Committee. So I'm co-chair of one of the committees there. So there's so much amazing things that are out there that people don't know about. So whatever introductions I can make, whatever I can do, most of the time I am a networker. So whatever I can do to help make some introductions, please let me know. I make no guarantees, but I'll definitely make as many introductions as need be.
That'd be appreciated. I also run a monthly film screening event as well. And it'd be nice to have people to come down and network in that space as well. So yeah, let's definitely talk.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. Well, thank you again for joining us, and thank you all for joining us. And I actually didn't get a chance to meet Bilal Rahim. So if you can take yourself off mute and introduce yourself, I'd love to meet you officially. No love. Okay, then we're gonna get.
No. You actually caught me at the best time possible because I was at Kung Fu with my daughter, so I wasn't able really to chime in, but it's over now and I'm in the vehicle. So as I mentioned, you caught me at the best time possible. My name is Brother Bilal Munir Rahim. I have two businesses that I'm three actual businesses that I'm currently pursuing at this time right now. I have a nonprofit organization, which is Fight for Life, No Excuses. Through that organization, we have a manhood training program that we offer two times a year, which we also offer some activities throughout the summer as well for young men. I also have an organization that I'm building for fathers. It's our Black Fathers Committee, which we take that same approach with offering resources and opportunities to men and fathers. Venture that I'm is a little different from those two. It's titled Nacho Express. It's a restaurant / mobile food opportunity that I'm currently in the building stages, and I was invited to this meeting to get some of the knowledge, and I was definitely able to learn some things. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to going back and listening to everything that I missed, because I feel like I would definitely learn more if I did. And that's about it.
Well, I'm so happy that you joined us, and thank you for taking time away from your daughter and her Kung Fu to join us. So I'm glad that she had some time to watch and that you participated. And certainly, I mean, after you watch the video, please, if you have any questions for me, like I said, Saria is part of your group, so just let her know as well. But just so you all know, we're all here to support you. I believe in lifting people up. That's my whole thing for everybody. My other background too, parents were in the military. My father served in the Air Force for 33 years, and my mom ballistic missile for 35. So he retired at Chief Master Sergeant. So for us, it was very interesting. It was never about race. It was always about rank. So things are a little bit different sometimes when we see and hear and do. So I think it's always apropos that, I ended up having this job, being a project director for this particular grant, serving alongside my colleagues, to especially include Saria in the Hispanic Chamber, and now you guys as well as my new friends. So I appreciate, again, all your time. If there's anything that I can do, my contact information is, I'll share it with you really quick. If you guys want to take a look at that, you could screenshot it. And like I said, Saria will also send it over to you as well. And there it is right there. There's my contact information. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, Karen is extremely connected. So even if you call her and be like, hey, can I have a 30-minute meeting? Let me tell you what I do, and see how she could connect you throughout the Valley. She's connected me to a lot of people and a lot of opportunities. So get to know her, sit down with her and see how she can help you, because she can do that. I promise you she can.
Well, there's definitely some synergies from each and every person that's on here right now. I'm just looking at the pictures and then the real live faces and everyone else, but there's definitely a lot of different things. So, but yeah, definitely a connector. So looking forward to working with you all.
You as
And hopefully meeting in person.
Absolutely. And I did have one quick question about the presentation. If Hub Zone has any relation to Opportunity Zone, or if those are totally separate things.
Those are a little bit different. Yeah. Opportunity, okay. You definitely have to have investors for the work that you're trying to seek. A Hub Zone is just a different type of a certification. So it's a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Are you guys in an Opportunity Zone?
We are. The bookstore is.
The bookstore. Oh, then you know what? Check the Hub Zone map to see if that is to see if the bookstore is also in a Hub Zone. See if maybe you can get some of those certifications. The only challenge is most of the time Hub Zone is used for federal government contracting. So you have to kind of do some quick, are you going to go after it if you're not going to get federal contracts? But just kind of, figure it out, but take a look to see if you guys are definitely in a Hub Zone. And if so, 30% of your staff also have to reside in a Hub Zone as well. And the 30% can also include you.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all I have this evening. I'm going to go and take a deep breath and eat some food, because I'm not sure if you could hear my stomach growling presentation, but
thank you again. Thank you so much from the entire group and who's on and those who will watch it after. I think this is nobody feels bad, but this has been my favorite presentation from the entire program. I learned a lot, and especially your effort to help make connections, and that's something that's so critical, especially for the businesses in the community. Is sometimes it's a lot about who you know or having access to the right people, the right resources. So I definitely look forward to learning more from you, speaking more with you about what it is that we're trying to build, the opportunities that we're trying to take advantage of in this city as a way to bring about greater levels of fulfillment, greater levels of equality and wealth creation and all those things. Sorry, my daughter's in the background. So once again, thank you from everybody. If anybody has any last minute questions, feel free to jump in with them. But if not, we will let everybody get back to eat because I haven't eaten either.
I know. Is it your stomach and my stomach are the only ones that are growling, right? Because
mine's always growling. So
yours, Jermaine, you're hungry too.
It doesn't stop.
Suria's got to be hungry too. So
right. Yes.
I have a comment. I would like to say that I appreciate everything that was said. It has enlightened me to do more research, because it's something to think about. You could say, oh, I have a business plan, but do I really have a business plan? The way that you laid it out, it just was so beautiful, and I really appreciate that, and thank you for that.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much. And like I said, Suria's going to email the slides. She's also going to email the SCORE business plan. When you see it, do not get intimidated. Just flip through it, fill in what you know. Everything else, come back to me. We got you. And most of the time, half the information is not even applicable to your business. So with that, Brother Ali is tired and hungry. Jermaine, hungry. Suria, hungry. Karen, hungry. Miss Muhammad, I'm not sure if you're hungry, but I am. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope you have a peaceful evening, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and just one more thing. Karen will be back for part 2. She will be our last speaker of the month. So if you guys want more of this, come back on, I think it's the 21st.
Okay, I'm there.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys. Bye for now.
All right. See ya. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.